Hey guys, it's Kara. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to just do a simple little TBR for this year. I want to talk about 24 books I want to read in 2024. And this does not mean that I don't have many other books on my TBR, because we all know like 24 books is not the full list. But I chose just a couple that I'm really thinking about right now that I really want to get to, and that it will happen. Like, I know it'll happen. On the list, I put series as one thing or author as one thing. And you'll see why, but I just felt like because I don't know all of their books yet, I'm just generalizing it so that I can actually just experiment with all of their books instead of just choose one random one. So you'll see, but let's just get into it. Alright, so first up is Taming Seven, which is the next book in the Boys of Tommen series. So obviously this is the number one most anticipated read, and I know it's going to be great. It's the series, The Boys of Tommen, with Binding 13, Keeping 13, Saving 6, Redeeming 6. I've had it in all my videos since March of last year, and this is supposed to follow a different couple. So Binding and Keeping were one couple, and then Saving and Redeeming were another. And this one is just going to be one book for them, but as much as I wish there were two, I know this is going to have my heart because I've been wanting a book for them since Binding 13. And you know that feeling when it's one of these series and you're waiting for that side character to get their own book. Like, this is what it's going to be. And I'm so excited to give it infinity stars. Next up is Magnolia Parks, Into the Dark. These top two are the only ones ranked. The rest, it's random. But these two are like constantly on my mind. So Into the Dark is the next Magnolia Parks book, MP3, and it picks up where we left off. It was a really like crazy ending. I always think about it. I got the pre-order of the book as a Christmas gift, so it will probably get to my house the day of the release. And when I tell you I'm dropping everything to read it, it's also coming out on Valentine's Day, I believe. And it's perfect because, well, everybody's going to be like having fun with whatever boyfriend or girlfriend or significant other they have. I'm going to have my book at hand, and I'm going to drink some like sweet drinks and feel like it's Valentine's Day and just enjoy it, even though I don't get to really enjoy it, because this book will be a perfect replacement. Next up is This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. And then I'll also say like the rest of Kennedy Ryan's books, but especially this one. This is like the sequel to Before I Let Go, which every time I say that title, I think of the Beyonce song. And it just fits so perfectly. I think it was deliberate, honestly. But Before I Let Go was like a beautiful romance, and it was second chance. It was this couple that was divorced and they're trying to find their way back to each other. And I'm not sure what This Could Be Us is about, but I know it's going to be good. The cover is pink, and I just love Kennedy Ryan's writing. I think she's my favorite author ever. And I like that she's getting her flowers, because you don't see that many Black romance authors getting their flowers the way that Kennedy Ryan has across the platforms. And I'm really happy for her. And honestly, like, I'm ready to read her other books like Kingmaker and Rebel King. That's been going around. And Real, I think that's a single book. And like all her books, I'm just knowing that they're going to be good. And I think they'll be good for me if I feel like I'm going to be in a slump. Next up is Reckless by Lauren Roberts, which is the sequel to Powerless. And I didn't expect to be so excited for it, but honestly, like, that was the type of book where you feel like the world building isn't fully fleshed out yet, and there's so much room to see what will happen, and it's just gonna be so exciting. It's one of the most hyped up books of 2023, And I think for good reason. I didn't give it a 5, but I really enjoyed it, and it gives Hunger Games vibes, sort of Shatter Me. Like, it's like the dystopian vibes, but it's fantasy. And then very easy to follow and read along, and it's just perfectly digestible. And I'm really excited for Reckless and to see like how everything turns out, because it ended very interestingly. Then we have Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. I don't like the cover, so I'm not gonna put it up, but I am excited for it. I already read the arc of the other book has for this year, which is Bride, and you can go to my Instagram to see the review for that. But I am excited for the romance because Ali Hazelwood's wheelhouse is new adult romance, not young adult, and not fantasy, but new adult romance. I don't know what this one's about either. I don't like the cover. I feel like the other 3 were cute, but this one's just like extra, But like, I just have full faith in her. Like, every time I pick up one of her books, it's an easy, like, fly through book. I'm not even a STEM girly, and I relate to the girls. Like, it's just so much fun to read her books. Then this is a series that I want to finish, and I read the first book in like 2021, and then I just never finished everything. And that's Children of Blood and Bone, like that series. So I want to reread Children of Blood and Bone and then read Children of Virtue and Vengeance. And then the third one, Children of Anguish and Anarchy, is coming out this year. And I remember really enjoying Children of Blood and Bone. I think it was really well done. I might try to do audiobook because I remember it being really high fantasy and dense, but like it was still really interesting. I remember, yeah, that was a good book. I want to read them and close to each other so that I don't forget like I did. But it makes sense that I forgot because Children of Blood and Bone I read in like 2021. So it's coming up on 3 years ago. But I'm really excited for the third one. The cover looks really pretty, and I just think it's going to be a great series. Then this is an author one. I want to read all the Abby Jimenez books, and this is the one I have. This is the one that's the most hyped up. Yours truly. Everybody loves this book. People are saying her writing's really great. It's easy to read. And there's one that goes before this, which is called Part of Your World. And then she has like the Friend Zone, the Happily Ever After playlist or something like that. So I figured, let me just read all her books because they're not so many that I can't accomplish it. But I just want a lot of these on hand. Like, I want to mood read more this year. And I know that books like hers will be easy to just fly through when school is really stressful or whatever. And I just want a quick read to stay in good spirits. So I'm really excited to get into her books. Then we have the Throne of Glass series. And this is a series that I actually technically read half of already, but it's really like forgotten. It's like a clean slate. And after reading Crescent City and loving it as much as I do, I realized that like I should give Throne of Glass another chance. And also, it's the type of series where if you stop in the middle, you don't get the full picture. I read Throne of Glass through like Queen of Shadows, I think, and just never got to Empire of Storms. And I guess what it was, Heir of Fire was really boring to me. It's a lot of people's favorites, but it wasn't mine. And so I think it just put me like in a slumpy feeling and not wanting to be interested in the world building in the other 2 books. But I remember loving Aelin. I think she's one of the best like female main characters I've read, and I just want to go back to it and really finish it in its entirety. Also, Kingdom of Ash, the last book, it's one of the highest rated books on Goodreads like ever. It's like 4.6, which is insane. So I want to believe that it's worth it. And Sarah J Maas, it's been hit or miss for me, but like I feel like it's something that I should do. I'm gonna cheat and make this a part of number 8 with Throne of Glass, but I also want to read House of Flame and Shadow, which is the 3rd book in the Crescent City series, and it comes out this month. But I'm probably gonna have to read it in March because February is already booked with plenty of books by Black authors, and I'm not gonna read that many books without Black authors or Black main characters. So that'll probably be a March one, but I'm really excited for it. And there's just so much that's gonna happen in that book, and I'm just ready. Then we have Where Sleeping Girls Lie, which is, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but Faria, who wrote Ace of Spades, that was really big when it came out. It was a thriller book, and I love the cover so much. This one, I believe it's not related, but it's another thriller, and I really liked her writing when I read the other book. So this one is another boarding school book. Ace of Spades was another boarding school type of book, but this one is boarding school and the girl's roommate disappears. And I love the disappear trope. Like, that will always do it for me, because it can be either super heartbreaking or super like shocking and surprising, and things aren't the way that they seem. So like, I really like that, and I love the cover too. Like, again, these covers, they're so nice, and I'm starting to understand why judging books by their covers can actually be really good. Then there's the One Dark Window duology. Literally the only reason why it's on my list is because my favorite booktuber, Sarah Caroli, all her favorite books and her book recommendations, they never miss, they never disappoint. She's my favorite booktuber, and I feel like I almost always agree with her takes, except for The Boys of Tommen. But that one's okay. Like, I don't care. It's like close to my heart anyway. But she's the fantasy girly. Like, she got into fantasy, and she originally liked romance. So that's also the trajectory that I'm on. And she really recommends this. It's like, I don't know what it's about, but the only reason why it's on my list is because of her. And she says it's really good, really fast paced. So I'm here for it. Next up, we have the rest of the Windy City series. So that's Caught Up and Play Along, which doesn't have a cover yet, I believe. But Play Along comes out in June or July, or maybe it's the end of the year. There's so many new releases on this list. I don't remember all the dates, but this one is a very good series. I read Mile High and The Right Move last year, and they were in some of my favorite books of the year. Really different writing than I'm used to. It's not the type of get out of a slump type of writing, but I think the relationships are always really meaningful, and people really like Caught Up too. Some people's favorites. So I think it'll be exciting. And Play Along, I don't know who it follows, what it's about, but I believe in Liz Tomford. Then we have The Way I Used to Be, and this is a book that I bought like 2 years ago or the beginning of last year, something like that. And it's a really sad book where she is taken advantage of, and she's dealing with that grief and not trying to get over what happened to her. And I think it'll be really raw and emotional, and will have good lessons in it. And I think it'll be one that is difficult to get through, but I think it's important, and that's why I bought it in the first place, and I don't want to keep putting it off. I actually want to read it this year. Next is Malibu Rising, and I have it on my list because I want to read the rest of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books, but I feel like I might not necessarily do that. I just know that this one was popular for a while, and last year One True Loves was my favorite book by her. It marked the best Taylor Jenkins Reid book I had ever read, and so I'm more motivated to get to another book by her. Next up is Fear the Flames, and this is one that I had started, I don't know if it was last year, I think it was last year, but it wasn't doing it for me. And I think it's because fantasy can be like that. Like, it's not even against the author, it's just like, for some reason sometimes the world building is like so difficult for me to get through in the beginning. But people that I love this book, and I believe that it will come through, and I really want to read it. I really feel like I'll feel those feelings and emotions, so I really want to get to that book. Next up is Funny Story, and Funny Story, this is by Emily Henry, an author who I have mixed feelings about because I read all her other books. I had People We Meet on Vacation at like 4 stars. Beach Read, I didn't like. It was like 3.5, which I don't know what it is. Like, everybody else in the world loves this book, but I didn't connect to it. Then Book Lovers 3, I really didn't like it except for the sibling relationship. And then Happy Place was a 4.5. I really liked it, but I don't find myself thinking about it. I think it was 4.25. So this one I want to read because, again, it's like people that I actually really like love her books, and I don't really get the hype. But so far, people who have gotten advanced reader copies of Funny Story have really enjoyed it. So I feel like it might be the plot that I don't connect with. Like, I think everybody has their Emily Henry book, and I think the one for me might be Funny Story. So I'm going to try again. Next, we have the reappearance of Rachel Price, and that's by Holly Jackson, and she's one of my favorite mystery authors. She wrote one of my favorite trilogies, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, 3 books, all 5 stars, and then 5 Survive was also really good. I gave it a 4.5. So I expect nothing less. I think it's going to be excellent, and I just feel like her writing's really good. She also thinks that the reappearance of Rachel Price is better than A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So maybe she improved in her writing. It was already great writing, but maybe she improved. I'm really excited to see what she has up her sleeve. Next up is the Chestnut Springs series, and I am so excited about it. I want to read it probably in May. I think that'll be prime time where I won't have too much going on. And I really want to do a reading vlog, just reading them all because the series is finished. And I read Flawless when I was in a big slump. And for some reason, it was supposed to get me out of my slump, but like, I wasn't feeling it. And I don't know if it's that cowboys aren't my thing, but like, I want to actually read the series, give my thoughts in real time, and just like act as if it's my first time reading all of the books and just go into it blindly. And I'm really excited to do that, but I think I'm going to wait a little bit for it. Next up is Serpent and Wings of the Night. It's another Sarah Caroli favorite, and I am not sure what it's about either, but there's 2 books, and I just trust that she knows what she's talking about. So I'm going to get to that one. Next is Fall of Ruin and Wrath by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I don't want to commit to saying I want to finish the Blood and Ash series anymore because it's just so long now. It's feeling like it's being dragged out and nobody is really into it anymore. Like, it's kind of overdone. But this is a new series she's starting, and I heard great things. People have been giving it 5s, and I don't doubt it because she was really my #1 fantasy author from Jump. Like, she was the one way before she became popular for this or for From Blood and Ash. Like, she had some really good, easy fantasy books. And I don't know how easy this one will be, but ew, I don't like the font. The font is nasty. No, 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 no. I will get through it. It's fine. Next is Rain, which I should get to this month, but it's been a crazy month. I haven't really read anything I wanted to read, so we'll see. But this is basically by Catherine McGee, and it's the 4th and final book in her American Royal series. And this was it. This was one of the first books I reviewed when I started doing BookTube, not on this channel, but when I had a combined channel, and it was just really fun, and it was just one of those. It's American royalty. It's like a reimagined type of government, but also there's romance and there's leadership, like can she lead, and all of these different things. And it's drama. It's like, it's very fun. So I'm really excited for what this last book has in store. I think it'll be great. I'm excited. Next up is another author, Lynn Painter. She wrote Better Than the Movies, The Do-Over, Betting on You, and then there are other ones that I want to read, but those three, I think the covers, they just look cuter together, so I'm probably going to start with those. I have actually read Better Than the Movies, but something about it I did not connect with when I first read it. So I want to give it another go, do it on audiobook, because I feel like her books will be really good on audio. And then we'll reassess from there, and then I want to read her other two books and see what I think. Next is Ghosted, and this is another Sarah Caroli favorite. And literally, like, you can see the pattern. Half of these books, I was a little bit influenced by Sarah Caroli or by Destiny. And, you know, they're both awesome. But this one is a second chance, so I know that I'll love it. Like, I love second chance romance. It's also like Single Dad or something like that. And he's a celebrity, like Marvel level celebrity. And they used to be together, or like they have a history. And I love that, because like the past chapters are always gonna hit and be interesting, and I'm just really excited to see how that plays out. Next up is Out on a Limb, and this is another one that got really hyped, and I think it could be for me. I believe it's fake dating. Fake dating, I don't love or hate. It's just kind of in the middle. It can be great, it can be mid, but I've never read a bad one, which is why I'm like excited to get to this, because I have high hopes and I feel like things will work out the way that I want them to. I'm just really excited to see what it's about. Last but not least, we have the Davenports More Than This, I believe it's called. It's the sequel to The Davenports, which I talked about in my least favorite books of 2023 and in my tier ranking. But it wasn't least as in like hated, I never want to see that book again. I just expected more from it, and it was very similar to American Royals, except more interesting premise. It was set in the 1920s. It's Black high society members, and same things, like there's arranged marriages, there's secret, forbidden. There's so many different things that were happening, but I felt like they weren't executed well, but I still want to see where things go. And I think when it comes out, I might read them together and just see what I think, reading them all in like one little thing. So yeah, I'm really excited. That's it for today's video, you guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and comment down below your favorites from this video, opinions on any of this, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.